Olivia was born into a world of privilege. Her father, Chief Okafor, was a real estate magnate who owned half the buildings in Victoria Island. Her mother, Mrs. Ifeoma Okafor, was a renowned philanthropist who spent her days organizing charity galas and events for the elites. From the moment she was born, Olivia was treated as the jewel of the Okafor household. Her nursery was decorated with imported Italian furniture, and her toys came from the most exclusive stores in Paris. Servants attended to her every need. Olivia must never cry, Chief Okafor often said. If she cries, it means someone isn't doing their job well. As Olivia grew older, these sentiments only intensified. By the time she was 5 years old, she had 3 personal maids who dressed her, brushed her hair, and cleaned up after her. If she spilled juice on the carpet, a maid rushed in to clean it before anyone could notice. If she wanted a snack in the middle of the night, the chef would wake up and prepare her favorite chocolate pancakes. Her mother constantly reinforced the idea that Olivia was special. "You are my princess," her mother would say. "You are too beautiful to stress yourself. Let the maids handle everything." Olivia quickly learned to adopt this attitude. When her cousins visited, she often showed off her luxurious life. "Chika," she said, "why do you braid your own hair? Don't you have a stylist?" Chika, who lived in a humble house in Enugu, laughed over it. "Not everyone has a stylist, Olivia. My mother makes my hair." Olivia frowned. "That sounds stressful. You should tell your parents to hire someone. Life is easier that way." As she grew older, Olivia became even more entitled. She refused to learn basic skills, saying, "Why should I cook or clean when we have people for that? I was born to live like a queen." Her parents never corrected her. They believed their wealth would always shield her from hardship. By the time Olivia turned 24, she had grown into a stunning young woman. Her skin was flawless and dark, with long legs and radiant smile that made her the center of attention wherever she went. Men flocked to her, but none seemed good enough for her or her parents. Olivia needs a man who can maintain her lifestyle. Chief Okafor would often say, "Not some ordinary man." It was at a charity gala hosted by her mother that Olivia met Mark. He was the keynote speaker, invited to share his story of rising from poverty to owning a chain of luxury hotels. Dressed in a sharp navy blue suit, Mark exuded confidence and elegance. Olivia was intrigued by him from the moment he stepped on stage. He spoke with a deep, commanding voice, yet his words carried humility. He shared stories of working odd jobs to put himself through university and how he built his business from scratch. When the speech ended, Olivia leaned towards her mother. "Who is he?" Mrs. Okafor smiled. "That is Mark Obi. He is a big deal in the hospitality industry. Would you like to meet him?" "Yes," Olivia said, already planning how she would win him over. They were introduced during the cocktail hour. Mark was polite but reserved, and Olivia found his calm attitude both intriguing and frustrating. She was used to men falling at her feet. "I enjoyed your speech," she said, giving him her most dazzling smile. "It is inspiring to see someone succeed through hard work." Mark smiled politely. "Thank you. And what do you do, Miss Okafor?" "I am exploring my options," Okafor replied vaguely. She didn't want to admit that she had never worked a single day in her life. Mark didn't bother, but he noticed her manicured nails, designer dress, and the way she avoided eye contact when asked direct questions. Still, there was something about her that caught his attention. Perhaps it was her confidence or her beauty, but he decided to give her a chance. Their courtship began slowly. Mark was captivated by Olivia's beauty, but he also saw traces of her entitlement. One evening, they dined at an upscale restaurant. Olivia ordered the most expensive dish on the menu and barely touched it. "Are you not enjoying the food?" Mark asked. "It is fine," Olivia said with a shrug, "but I'm not that hungry." Mark raised an eyebrow. "That dish cost 35,000 naira. "Oh, it's just money," Olivia replied casually. "You can always make more, right?" Mark laughed, but the comment stayed with him. He wondered if Olivia truly understood the value of hard work. 2 years later, Mark and Olivia got married in a flamboyant ceremony. The wedding was the talk of Lagos society, with over 500 guests, a 5-tier cake, and a live performance by one of Nigeria's top musicians. Olivia looked radiant in her custom-made gown, and Mark couldn't stop smiling as he watched her walk down the aisle. Their honeymoon in the Maldives was equally extravagant, with private villas, sunset cruises, and endless champagne. Olivia was in her element, basking in luxury and attention. But when they returned home and settled into married life, reality began to set in. Mark, who had grown up in a small home, was used to structure and responsibility. He woke up early, managed his businesses, and came home expecting some level of order. Olivia, on the other hand, spent her days shopping, gossiping with friends, or scrolling through social media. One evening, Mark came home to find the living room in chaos. Shoes were scattered on the floor, half-empty coffee mugs were on the table, and the kitchen sink was piled high with dirty dishes. Olivia was lounging on the couch, watching a reality TV show. "Olivia," Mark said, trying to keep his voice calm. "What happened here?" She looked up briefly. "What do you mean?" "This place is a mess," he said. "Didn't you clean up today?" Olivia laughed. "Me? Mark, you know I don't do chores. If you want the house clean, then you need to hire someone." Mark frowned. "I am working hard every day to provide for us, and you can't even keep the house in order." "Mark," Olivia said as she sat up, "you married me to make my life easier, not harder. I am not a maid." "That is not what I am saying," Mark replied, clearly frustrated. "Marriage is about partnership. I need you to at least try, put in some effort." Olivia rolled her eyes. "Fine, if it bothers you so much, let us hire a maid." Mark sighed, feeling defeated. He agreed, but deep down, he was beginning to worry about the future of their marriage. After much discussion, Mark and Olivia hired their first maid, Blessing. Blessing was a cheerful young woman in her late 20s with a knack for keeping things spotless. She came highly recommended by an agency, and Mark had high hopes that her presence would bring some order to their chaotic home. "Blessing, I trust you'll do a great job here," Mark said reassuringly on her first day. "Yes, sir," Blessing replied. "I will do my best." Initially, things seemed to improve. Blessing kept the house sparkling clean, cooked delicious meals, and ensured Mark's work clothes were always ironed. However, Olivia was less impressed. One morning, Olivia called Blessing into the living room, holding up a glass vase. "Did you see this?" she said, pointing to a faint stain on the vase. Blessing blinked. "Yes, madam, I can clean it again." "You should have cleaned it properly the first time," Olivia snapped. "Are you trying to embarrass me in my own home?" "No, madam," Blessing said softly. She collected the vase and cleaned it again. However, it didn't matter how hard Blessing tried. Olivia always found something to criticize. If the food wasn't seasoned exactly to her liking, she complained. if a pillow was out of place, she shouted. Blessing endured it all quietly, but the constant insults began to wear her down. One evening, Mark found Blessing sitting outside the house, wiping tears from her eyes. Blessing, what is wrong? He asked. Sir, I don't think I can stay here anymore, she admitted. Madam is too difficult. Mark sighed. He had noticed Olivia's behavior, but had hoped she would improve. Please don't leave yet. I'll talk to her. Mark confronted Olivia that night. Why are you so hard on Blessing? She's doing her best. Olivia crossed her arms. Her best isn't good enough then. If she can't meet my standards, she should leave. Despite Mark's efforts, Blessing resigned after 4 months. Olivia acted differently, saying, good riddance to bad rubbish. We'll find someone better. Mark, however, was deeply disappointed. He wondered how many maids they would go through before Olivia learned to treat people with kindness. The second maid, Amina, arrived a few weeks later. She was a timid young girl from a rural village who had taken the job to support her family. Unlike Blessing, Amina struggled to adjust to city life, which made her an easy target for Olivia's criticisms. On her first day, Olivia handed her a long list of chores. This needs to be done every day, and I don't want any excuses, she said sternly. Yes, madam, Amina replied, bowing her head. Despite her timid nature, Amina worked diligently. She scrubbed the floors, washed the windows, and cooked meals to the best of her ability. But Olivia was tough. One afternoon, Olivia found Amina ironing Mark's shirts. She picked up one of the shirts and frowned. What is this? You call this ironing? Look at the collar. It is still squeezed. I am sorry, madam, Amina stammered. I will fix it. You better, Olivia snapped. I don't know why we keep hiring people who can't do their jobs. Mark soon noticed Amina's unhappiness and tried to intervene. Olivia, you need to be patient with this girl. She's still learning. She's not a child, Mark. Olivia fired. If she can't do the job, she doesn't belong here. The final straw came one evening when Amina accidentally broke a decorative plate while cleaning. Olivia screamed at her so loudly that Amina burst into tears. You are a disaster, Olivia shouted. Do you even have sense? Or you are just clumsy by nature? That night, Amina packed her bags and left without saying goodbye. When Mark found out, he was furious. This has to stop, Olivia. You can't keep treating people like this. Mark, they should know how to do their jobs properly, Olivia said dismissively. If they can't handle criticism, then they are not cut out for this. Unfortunately, 3 years into their marriage, Olivia and Mark still hadn't conceived. Olivia had always dreamt of having babies, and the delay began to disturb her. They visited a fertility clinic where the doctor conducted several tests. Afterward, the doctor called them into his office. Mr. and Mrs. Obi, your chances of conceiving naturally are slim, but don't lose hope. There are treatments we can explore. Olivia burst into tears. Why is this happening to us? Mark held her hand tightly. We'll get through this, Olivia. But Olivia's frustration began to manifest in other ways. She became even more irritable and critical, taking out her anger on everyone around her. Mark noticed her worsening behavior, decided to have a serious conversation with her. One evening, he sat her down in the living room. Olivia, I know this is hard for you, but you need to change the way you treat people. You can't keep lashing out at everyone. I am not lashing out, Olivia said defensively. I just have high standards. There is a difference between having high standards and being cruel, Mark corrected. Maybe God is waiting for us to show kindness before blessing us with a child. Olivia rolled her eyes. So you now think this is my fault? I didn't say that, Mark corrected. But we need to reflect on our actions. You can't keep treating people like trash and sending them away. By now, they had already hired over 20 maids who all left feeling frustrated and humiliated. The 25th maid, Charity, arrived on a sunny Monday morning. She was 22 years old, with smooth caramel skin and a lively smile. Unlike the previous maids, Charity was confident and outspoken. During her interview, Mark asked her about her background. Why do you want this job? I am from a poor family, Charity explained, but I am determined to make something of myself. I have worked in 3 other households and I know I can handle anything. Mark was impressed. You seem like a hard worker. I am, sir, Charity said confidently. I just need a chance. Olivia, however, was skeptical. She noticed how beautiful Charity was and immediately felt threatened. She should better not get too comfortable, she muttered under her breath. At first, Olivia pretended to be kind. She showed Charity around the house and explained her duties. But as the days went by, her true character took over. She began giving Charity extra tasks, hoping to frustrate her. One day, Mark complimented Charity's cooking. This stew is amazing, he said. Olivia's face darkened. Charity, don't get too proud of yourself. It is just a stew. Charity, on sensing Olivia's hostility, decided to keep her head down and focus on her work. But Olivia's behavior only worsened. She criticized Charity for the smallest mistakes and sometimes refused to let her eat until all the work was done. Despite the maltreatment, Charity remained focused. I won't let her break me, she told herself. I will prove that I am stronger than this. Olivia's behavior toward Charity escalated really fast. She rarely addressed the young maid with anything other than contempt. The tasks Olivia assigned her became more unreasonable and her sharp tongue grew even sharper. Charity, Olivia called one Saturday morning as she prepared to leave for her weekly shopping trip. I want the entire house spotless by the time I return. That includes the windows, the floors, and all the bathrooms. No excuses. Yes, madam, Charity said softly, suppressing the urge to roll her eyes. She had learned to mind her business. Olivia was gone for hours as usual, leaving Charity alone with Mark. That morning, Mark was sitting in the living room. His tie was loosed and his eyes were closed as he leaned back on the couch. He looked exhausted. The weight of his demanding work and the tension at home was clearly affecting him. Charity, who had been cleaning nearby, hesitated before speaking. Oga Mark, you look very tired. Should I bring you some water or tea? Mark opened his eyes and smiled weakly. Thank you, Charity. Water would be nice. She returned with a glass of cold water and set it on the coffee table. As she turned to leave, Mark stopped her. Wait, can I ask you something? Charity nodded. Yes, sir. How do you manage to stay so calm? I have seen how Olivia treats you. I know it is not easy. Charity paused, choosing her words carefully. Sir, I have to stay strong. My family depends on me. Besides, I believe in treating people with respect no matter how they treat me. Her answer struck a chord with Mark. He admired her resilience and the strength she exuded despite her circumstances. Over the next few weeks, their interactions became more frequent. Charity noticed how Mark's face lit up when she brought him tea or asked about his day. She couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in being appreciated, something she never experienced with Olivia. One Saturday morning, as Olivia headed out for her usual shopping spree, Mark sat in the living room, visibly tired from a long week. Charity, noticing his discomfort, took a deep breath before speaking. Oga Mark, you look like you are carrying the whole world on your shoulders. Maybe I can help. Mark giggled. Unless you can magically erase all my stress, I doubt you can help. Charity smiled. Let me try. Sometimes a simple massage can do wonders. Mark hesitated for a moment but nodded. All right, I'll trust you on that. Charity began massaging his shoulders. Her hands were soothing. Mark closed his eyes, allowing himself to relax for the first time in days. He couldn't help but notice the warmth of her touch and the genuine care in her movements. One thing led to another, and before either of them fully realized what was happening, they crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. What started as a simple moment of comfort quickly escalated into a passionate affair. The affair continued for 2 months, hidden in the private house when Olivia was away. Charity felt both guilty and empowered. She knew what she was doing was wrong, but she couldn't deny the connection she felt with Mark. One evening, as Charity was cleaning the dining room, she began to feel sick. She held her stomach for support. For weeks, she had been feeling that way. The realization that she had not seen her monthly period hit her like a thunderbolt. She was pregnant. She took the test to be sure. Fear gripped her. She didn't know how Olivia would react, and the thought of being cast out terrified her. But she knew she couldn't keep the secret forever. She decided to tell Mark later that evening. Oga Mark, I need to talk to you, she said. Mark looked up from his laptop. What is wrong? Charity took a deep breath. I am pregnant. The room fell silent. Mark stared at her. His expression was blank at first. Then, to her surprise, he smiled. Are you sure? Yes, I have taken the test. Mark stood up in joy. Charity, this is amazing. I have always wanted a child. But what about Madame Olivia? Charity asked. What will she do to me? Mark's expression hardened. Don't worry about Olivia. I will handle her. For now, we'll keep this between us. Charity nodded, but she was afraid. She knew Olivia's temper, and she doubted the truth could stay hidden for long. The truth finally came out on a Sunday evening. Charity was setting the table for dinner when a wave of nausea hit her. She placed a hand on her stomach and sat down to steady herself. Olivia, who had been scrolling through her phone, noticed and frowned. Charity, Olivia barked. Why are you sitting down? Did I tell you to rest? Charity looked up, trying to compose herself. I am sorry, madam. I am not feeling well. Olivia rolled her eyes. Not feeling well? What exactly have you done today that has made you so tired? You are so lazy and so disgusting. Charity had reached her breaking point at this moment. She stood up and faced Olivia defiantly for the first time. I am tired because I have been able to accomplish what you could not do. I am pregnant. The words hung in the air like a bomb, waiting to explode. Olivia's eyes widened. What did you just say? I am pregnant, Charity repeated, and it is your husband's child. Life left Olivia for a second. You filthy liar, she screamed, charging towards Charity. At that moment, Mark entered the dining room, drawn by the commotion. What is going on here? He demanded. Charity turned to him. I told her the truth. Mark sighed deeply. Olivia, it is true. Charity is carrying my child. Olivia stared at him in disbelief. Her chest pounded with rage. How could you do this to me, Mark? After everything we've been through? This is not about you, Olivia, Mark defended. This is about me and my feelings. Charity has shown me more kindness and support in a few months than you have in our entire marriage. Olivia's voice cracked. You are blaming me for this? She's a maid. I'm sure she seduced you. Charity stepped forward. I didn't seduce anyone, madam. You created this situation with your cruelty. You have maltreated everyone who has ever worked for you, and now you are only reaping what you've sown. Olivia charged at Charity again, but Mark stepped between them. Enough, Olivia, he shouted. This marriage is over. Mark's decision to file for a divorce shattered Olivia. She begged and pleaded, but he remained rigid. I have given you every chance to change, Olivia, and you've refused. I deserve to be with someone who respects me and others. I want to be happy for real. The divorce was finalized a month later. Olivia returned to her parents' house, humiliated and broken. Meanwhile, Mark married Charity and they welcomed their child into a loving home. Thank you for watching this story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story in the comment section. Share the story out with your loved ones and give the story a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories. Thank you and remain blessed.